My friend, it is Ray from Chipmunk Robotics again. In managing our accounting and finance data within Google Sheets, we often come across situations where we always need to drag formulas to calculate multiple records in the same column. Although the drag and drop operation is convenient for a lot of you guys, sometimes it can be also troublesome. And also other times you don't really know how many records you want to calculate because you may have additional records you are not aware of at the moment within a Google Sheets tab. This is why in today's video, we want to go over the array formula concept to add the array calculation functionality to majority of the regular formula you often use in finance and accounting. Before we start, I want to share a little bit of the background of the array formula in Google Sheets. Array formula by definition is to operate on an array of data or a range of data. Back in Microsoft Excel, you can change formulas to an array formula by pressing, if I believe correctly, it's Control plus Shift plus Enter buttons all together to turn a formula into an array formula. I actually don't like the Microsoft Excel array formula design. To me, it is so error prone and doesn't give me the feeling that I am in control. Google Sheets, on the other hand, allows you to turn the formula into an array formula by simply wrapping the formula within the function simply called array formula. So in my personal biased opinion, this is much better. This tutorial, I want to show you two applications of array formulas. The first is to leverage the array formula in VLOOKUP functions, and the second is to use array formula in text operations. For VLOOKUP, at first let us look at the data we're dealing with. Looks like we have 5 entities of revenue data in our accounting data set. The revenue account consists of both entity IDs and the account number. And of course, there are revenue amounts for each revenue account. Let's turn to our exercise tab. In the VLOOKUP exercise, we can simply write the first VLOOKUP formula to return the revenue amounts for the accounts listed. And of course, to make it work for other accounts, we drag the formula down. So let's start writing our VLOOKUP. Range is column AB. I want to return the revenue amount, which is second column. And I want to do the exact match. Now let me drag the formula down. To make an array formula of this VLOOKUP, we simply can wrap the VLOOKUP formula within the array formula and make sure also update our VLOOKUP range from one single cell to an array. So here, let me just copy the formula from the first cell. And let me paste it in here and wrap it in array formula. And also, I'm updating the single cell reference from H3 to H3 all the way to the end of column A. So let me hit enter. So it looks like we have all the array formulas populating results for us. See those NAs because array formulas operates on the entire column, but we don't have values in those blank cells. So what I can do is I can wrap the array formula further within if error formula to get rid of those NAs. Now we're done. Before we do any more formulas, let's first talk about the differences between the two methods. Obviously, the array formula requires no drag and drop because your input for the first cell has already included the array you want to calculate. So you don't need to drag and drop the formula. Secondly, because our array formula input is H3 to the end of the column A, uh, any subsequently added accounts can also be calculated automatically. So the array formula is definitely more dynamic. So by seeing that, let me just go ahead and copy some random revenue accounts from the data source and paste them here and to see whether our array formula works. So let me just copy all those accounts over and see the array formula automatically calculates for us. Now let's also try to leverage the array formula to do some text manipulation as well. So for example, in this exercise on the right, if we want to extract the digits only account numbers, we could simply use the ret function and to extract the last 6 digits um, and click OK. So this is the regular formula, right, to extract all those actual account numbers. So to use the array formula, similarly to VLOOKUP, we simply use the ret function and wrap it within the array formula function. But remember, we need to update our input range to be an array, such as from E3 to the end of the E for the entire column. So let me just copy this formula here and wrap it with array formula. And update E3 to E3 to E and hit enter. So now our array formula is done. Just like we did earlier, let us copy some random accounts numbers from the data source and paste it over here to see whether the array formula can automatically doing text extraction for us. See, those calculations is automatically done with the array formula. So array formula does have some limitations within Google Sheets. You can wrap pretty much every regular formula which returns a value within an array formula, but you cannot wrap a formula that returns an array already within another array formula. I know sounds confusing, but for example, in the array formula we showed earlier, because VLOOKUP actually returns a value, you can wrap the VLOOKUP formula within the array formula. However, if you are trying to use array formula wrapping up a query function, it will not work. This is because the query function has already returned an array, has an output. So it cannot be further wrapped with another array formula. So I hope you can find this video very useful because the ability to use the array formula makes a huge difference in creating good accounting and finance reports. I would highly encourage you to experiment with the array formulas to the extent you can. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.